Welcome to Real Flix Reviews, or like a book club for people hate reading. This week we're doing the movie Europa Report, made in 2013, and we bring you movie news at the end of the program. This week we have Jonathan Charney, James Stevens, Ryan Preston, and Rob Charney.
Hey, the old guy's here.
Everybody here at Real Flix Reviews would like to give our condolences to the friends and family of Harold Remus. You all probably know him as Egon Spangler. He's also writer, director, and actor, and he'll be missed. This is the last week we're going to be available on iTunes. We're sincerely sorry about that. We're still trying to figure out how to get that back. But please do us a favor and check out our Facebook page. You can leave us a note, number, message, whatever, and just, say hi. Even tell us we suck.
I'm sure the 9 of you won't mind just going to the website.
Just being a little jealous.
Hit the donate button.
Yeah.
Donate.
Donate. We need donations.
And I'll start out reading the description. And Europa Report, made in 2013, an international crew of astronauts undertake a privately funded mission to search for life on Jupiter's fourth largest moon.
I'm going to kick this one off. And, I'm actually going to do something I don't usually do.
High praise?
No, I'm actually going to read my notes word for word.
Word for word?
Wait, hold on, pause. You took notes.
No, more pause. He can read.
Well, I do. He can read. He just doesn't take notes.
I don't know how to read. I just recognize symbols.
Here you go.
He didn't write it, so he can read it.
So,
Here, put these on. You won't be able to read it.
All right, your notes. Get on with it.
I believe Ryan missed the point of this month's theme. The person you are picking for is supposed to like this movie. Now, did you watch it before you picked it, or was this crap a surprise bore for you too? Holy crap, this movie is slow and boring, acting subpar, and the story really slow, and did I mention boring? Nothing kept my attention. The only reason I finished it was just to make damn sure all these characters died. A 2001 A Space Odyssey was way more action-packed and exciting. The only good thing is this movie is only 90 minutes long.
Okay, Mr. President.
Okay, I'm done.
He needs a teleprompter, apparently.
Wow.
That was harsh, by the way.
Wow.
I've said my piece.
Were you doing dishes while you were watching this movie?
Okay, well, I guess I'll go. The first thing I was to say...
I know. This is
Hold on a second.
Anybody can say anything. Yes.
Right.
I was going to try to retort, but for a second, I'm going to try to pass this over to Rob because he seemed to be a little bit more on my side.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Wait, the first thing I wanted to say is this movie was only at $10 million.
Hey.
Thank you.
Well,
So?
Well, no, that's pretty much pocket change. That's like the money you find on the casting couch.
one of the things I wanted to know
Do
about
I need
this
to
movie...
mention a name, Quentin Tarantino, to you people?
Jesus Christ.
What? Yeah, I agree. And that's why I changed my mind on the movie, too, by the way.
Thanks, Rob. You and me, buddy.
There you go. Well, I'm going to make friends with you on this. I think it was... what I think was kind of neat about this movie is I talking to John about it. I said, those are actual sets.
Yeah.
They made actual sets. And if they did for $10 million, what a deal this movie is.
Right. Exactly.
I can tell they got a deal.
Well, the only thing I got to say that I thought was bad is the CG on the outside shots were bad, but the interior sets I thought were not only amazing, but were vaguely 2001-esque. Not as the grandeur of the 2001, but I was really impressed with the sets.
I thought...
Well, I thought the entire movie, if I'm going to launch into some shit for a minute.
Go for it.
Wow. I thought the entire movie was sort of a little bit of a throwback to some slow burn kind of, sci-fi movies, such as 2001, when space was sort of this, really big mystery. Nobody really had any idea what was going on. This movie managed to sort of give you a little bit of that mystery with all the shit that we already know. You know what I mean? Like with just more stuff. Anyway, the reason I actually picked this movie for James was... One, I actually didn't think it was that bad of a freaking movie or that boring. I was surprisingly entertained by this incredibly low budget movie. Maybe I should have told you this was a really low budget movie.
It wouldn't have helped.
But that being said, I was kind of torn on whether or not you would like it, but not necessarily for the story, more or less for the type of storytelling. Because this is something that started to come up a lot in the last few years, everybody's sort of doing this kind of found footage or compiling of footage from like security camera angles and kind of telling a story through that. And I kind of wanted to see your opinion on it.
But I mean, were you
I
kind of?
guess you should have told him first.
No, it wouldn't have changed my mind on this one. I mean, are you kind of comparing this to what was that one, Monsters?
Yeah, it's the same kind of movie. That movie was
Not
made
really.
shit. And
That
this,
movie was, that movie was a lot better than this one.
I gotta say though, I
well, this movie was a lot more ambitious, I think.
I gotta say,
I'll give you that.
I think the found footage, actually, for me, I thought it played very well on this genre of hard sci-fi. And after everything, I read a little bit about this movie after, and a lot of people are actually praising this for the accuracy and some of the facts and some of the stuff they said.
Right,
actually
yeah,
read the
exactly. Like
trivia
to the
on-
point where
Yeah.
I'm watching this thing and pausing it every 15 seconds to be like, is that true? And then, sure enough,
The only thing I have to be a little pedantic about is when they were on Europa, they would not be able to actually walk like that.
Well, the gravity they got
Europa,
wrong.
Europa has about the approximately the same gravity as Earth's moon.
Well,
That's my beam
they,
picky.
the two things they said that
maybe
they
they
got
did that just
really
to not have
wrong
to explain the effect.
was the temperature
Yeah.
and the gravity.
Right.
Yeah.
It'd be very hard to do the gravity. Hence the movie with Sandra Bullock that did Gravity, in which I hated. So
I agree with you. I hated that one too.
So
I really liked though the way they did the found footage. Even when they were switching cameras, I actually thought that for a movie about space, that actually played well than a lot of other space sci-fi movies that have been out within the last.
I'm
years,
not
at least to
disappointed
me.
by the found footage thing. I think that was okay. I mean, I've seen it. I've done it. It was okay for this. But still,
So-
I think there was very little for the story. I mean, yeah, they found life. Yay, woohoo, whatever. It was just boring.
See, I actually really
I didn't give a crap about any of the characters. I mean, literally, like I could care less if that guy died out in space. Shut up. Take less time on a Trinity death, please.
well, it was not the kind of
It
movie that let
it
you
wasn't
get.
quite a Trinity death.
Well, the only
Character
thing I'll give
development
him
going
is
on.
that he had 20 minutes of oxygen left, okay?
Thank
Enjoy
God
the
it was-
view, die in peace, stop talking.
Or at least it wasn't 20
Wow.
minutes.
Next time I'll pick Fast and Furious.
Yeah.
You know, that one would probably get a higher
Taxi
rating.
Driver.
No.
Wow.
No, at Fast
now
and
that I
Furious
know
would
it's
So
be
like
more.
movies.
I know for me, even though this movie, I have to admit, was a slow burn, but I was actually really interested through this whole movie. I have to admit that the character.
What was interesting?
I'll tell you-
Please tell me
I
that.
was going to say that.
I got an answer for it.
I got to say the couple of things that the character development wasn't really there.
But
The-
I
the
will.
It
story.
wasn't deep. It was there. It's just not. It wasn't developed.
Yeah, I don't think that. I don't know. Yeah, the characters were there. I don't know if you would
Yeah.
call them developing through the story. Some of it was loose, but overall, the feel of it kind of adventurous. I don't know. For me, it was just.
You know, I'll tell you what it comes on for me is that I happen to like sci-fi. And so I'm more willing to forgive some of the acting and some of the things that take place in a genre like sci-fi. It's because, I read every book I could get my hands on as a kid. I watched every show that was on television, the cheesy, the Robinsons to go out to space, and I love that television series.
I have to say, I liked Aliens 4, so this movie's,
Well, let me put it this way. I'm not a fan of this type of sci-fi. I am a fan of more fantasy sci-fi, which is
So this was too realistic.
different.
Yeah. This was.
Well, let me put it
they
this
tried
way.
to hit this, a little
It's
too
trying
Yeah.
to be too realistic.
Yeah.
With throwing in some fantasy creature thing that
They
was
found
just- I
life.
didn't really care
They
about.
they went and they discovered what they wanted to discover. They found life.
at least it wasn't Prometheus.
and
where
the life
begin-
took theirs.
well,
Yay!
At least it wasn't like Prometheus, where you had some butt-naked dude dissolve in front
You
of
know,
See, maybe that was my thing. Is most sci-fi movies tend to take a little more of a leap, and this one kind of just kept its feet on the ground. Pardon the expression.
Mm-hmm.
except for one of them who floated away.
I actually maybe
That guy had his feet a little bit off the ground.
Ryan has a good point. I mean, it didn't. There was no promises of grandeur to me in this movie. Like once I first saw the first 20 minutes, it kind of it was what it was. And I think that's the thing that I liked it because it was just a simple story and a simple plot with kind of a convoluted time jump. But
Yeah.
because the only thing I really hated about this movie is when it jumped time, when they were in Europa, to figuring out how the communications array went dead, and then jumped back onto Europa. That whole part I thought was very poorly edited.
Okay.
Silence.
See, it
we can't
really
have
doesn't
silence.
change anything that I thought about this movie. I think it was I was just highly let down by it, and it's not like I went in expecting anything. I had never heard of this film. It had gone under my radar as far as films go.
Went under most people's radar.
So
You know what? Well, I was going to say also the reason that I picked it. I was kind of under the gun actually when you asked me what I was going to pick. I was going to give myself at least 20 minutes to think of something. But I had just watched this movie like 3 days prior, and it was still like rolling around in my head for a couple of days because I don't know, it just kind of grew on me even more after watching it. And I don't know, I was just interested in seeing what you would pick or what you would think of this one.
Well, now we know.
I guess so, yeah.
I do have a comment though. My first thought is when they landed on Europa and that lady did the spacewalk. My first thing was, you spent billions and billions of dollars on a spaceship, but there's no like lunar rover. I mean, can't you borrow the one that's on the moon?
The other thing that bugged me.
The surface isn't smooth, Jonathan.
They're going to
they have
a
tires? I
place
don't know.
that they've never been before. They didn't know what was going to happen, and they did not have any decontamination set up. Really?
Oh, you were talking for that was the Hysine gas. That's
no,
different.
but I think you're talking about in general, right? Because
In general, you would have
know
something to help decontaminate you, especially when you already know that there's high levels of radiation exposure.
Yeah,
that
that's
you can
true.
be affected by.
They just like they did on the moon landings.
What, they
would
went underprepared?
quarantine. No, we there's no way of doing it in space. When they came back to Earth, they were isolated. They were, and so they watched them for 2 weeks to see if they grew 3 noses.
But James's comment is, they're in that suit and they're getting highly radiated. How do you know that what's ever on the surface of Europa is not going to affect them on the ship?
Or that there's some liquid thing that could spray radiation on you and you have to be contaminated.
And that's the logical argument that's made today about actual visitation to any planet and coming back.
That's what I'm saying.
Well, right. And it's the type of contamination that it was.
Right. So maybe who knows? Maybe the bosses originally planned that they weren't going to survive.
Well,
this.
I think
maybe there's an evil twist to this movie.
The only thing I'll give them is they try to reason it away by saying that this was initially supposed to be an unmanned mission, and then they decided to man it, and that was a last minute type of detail type of thing. So they had to revamp the ship and things. But you think that they would think ahead on decontamination at least in some?
Well. I mean, there's only so much you could do.
in some form, besides saying "peace out, dude," you're screwed.
Yeah, that was the only part to me that was like there had to be something you could do. The only way I thought they could justify.
Well, they were trying to think they were trying to get him out of the suit, but then Homeboy was passing out, so the guy kind of sacrificed himself in the last. Fuck, are you going to think of everything?
Even if you take him out of the suit, the decompression would immediately kill him. There was nothing you could do.
Well, no, the only thing I could think of was the fact that Ryan was saying that even if you got him into the chamber, because the guy had no oxygen left.
Yeah, I know, but the other guy was running out of oxygen. I'm talking
about
the guy.
We're all trying to think about it in hindsight.
Anyway, you're right. Anyways, but no, I didn't really give a crap either way.
I can see where they spent all the money was on the actual set itself was amazing. No, I was really impressed.
I think they did. Set. Maybe we can buy it.
I think they did great on a few of the sets. I think that was really nicely done. But it still doesn't change the fact for me that this was a boring film that I did not enjoy.
It's a storyline that you didn't care for.
Yeah, I didn't give a crap about it.
I'm just talking about the ship set itself was pretty amazing. I mean, for $10 million, that was actually very impressive to me.
No, that like I said. For me, that doesn't change
Oh no,
from
yeah,
it, you
no,
know?
of course. I mean, I hate the movie
It's
2001: Space Odyssey, but I can say the sets are amazing.
I like 2001: A Space Odyssey, so
Well,
you know.
I'm sorry, it's a bad movie.
That's why we're here. We all have our opinions.
We don't
right?
have to agree.
We don't have to agree.
I gotta-
and
this
is what we did
don't.
last week.
And I think the more we don't, the better we are.
I have to say though, I think the ending was kind of lame.
You know, that's the exact same thing I thought too. And my wife made the comment of, "Why does that thing look like a machine?"
Which thing?
Oh,
the
I see.
monster?
The
Yeah.
monster at the end.
No, it was
the way
like an
kinda,
octopus.
That's kind of what, but it was.
had-
Her thing was that it was a little bit more
Mechanical-ness looking, yeah.
mechanical-esque looking than what we're
I
used to.
don't agree with that.
And I said, it kind of reminds me of one of those light fish,
It looked very steampunk-ish in the dark to me. It had that very mechanical look to it, kind of.
But I thought it was kind of a
Not to
letdown
me.
on the creature,
But
or whatever it was.
yeah, I mean, I can see why storyline they would do that.
Large amoeba.
Because she realized she was never going to get off the Earth. She was never be able to get back by herself. So
So
she was
what's the better
basically
way
stuck.
of dying? Drowning? Or,
Radiation
obviously
exposure?
with the radiation
Or
and the
starving.
temperature there, the minute she opened up that hatch, she would have been dead instantly anyway.
Yeah.
Or the lady who
So-
was mesmerized by it, broke through the ice and went down, and it's not really certain whether she got killed by the creature or the pressure from the water surrounding her crushed her to death.
Well, there wouldn't have been any rescue. There's no way to rescue her.
No.
So the minute she goes through the ice, she knows she's done. So she just goes through the trip.
I am surprised though
It's an e-ticket.
that they're in some planet in the middle of on millions of miles away from Earth. She sees some flashing lights, and the first comment is, "I know, let's go closer."
Oh, I like the comment of,
There was
I
a
gotta
couple
turn
of
my
those
lights
moments
off.
It was pretty shitty.
It was it's like horror movie 101. It's like, seriously?
There you go. We used to stay up until midnight to watch sci-fi movies, the same way we used to watch horror flicks and all that. That's where this movie fits into.
Sure, man, it's at the
I-
Wayback
I
Machine in
agree.
I would
1960.
have fallen asleep.
Well,
I'm
there
over
you
here
go.
looking up symptoms of hydrazine. That was the chemical that he got on his suit, and this stuff is fucked up, man. This
It's
thing
bad,
is so
bad stuff.
fast
Yeah.
And this coming
in
from
like
Ryan,
small doses.
that coming from Ryan is very
And
hilarious.
did you see how much he had on his suit?
It was
Yeah.
covered.
Yeah, well, no, it wasn't covered. It was just
they
quite a
in
lot of that
2008, the
On the
government
leg.
destroyed a satellite, and they
Yeah,
had
the
to
leg.
use a sea-launched
I didn't see the leg,
missile
I just
just
saw the
because of the
sleeve.
danger if it, like the satellite re-entered the Earth's atmosphere intact.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Man.
it's true. Yeah, it's bad stuff.
Oh, I don't know. So
This
I'm
is examination
not.
bullshit.
We have had moments of silence during this one, which just
So James,
astonishes me.
what is your rating on this movie? Not like I don't know what it is, but let's formalize it
Let's
here.
see how bad you like this movie.
2.
A 2.
Wow, I'm actually not what I was expecting.
I'm sure it wasn't what Ryan was expecting off. Well, I don't know. I
That's
I
what
don't.
would expect.
I have had worse reviews.
So Rob,
Hey, you guys know I'm pretty tough on movies, and the sci-fi guy in me says a 4, but the movie guy in me says a 3, so we'll stick with a 3.
All right, well,
Ryan,
Yeah, I'm going with a 3. That's kind of what I thought James was going to pick before I heard him. He just tried to tear it
lambast
apart.
you.
Yeah, really. Huh?
But I mean, I didn't think there was anything incredible about it, but I thought it was, when I heard it was $10 million after watching it, I was like, oh shit, really? Like wow.
How'd you make payroll? I mean,
Yeah,
nobody
really,
got paid
exactly.
a lot.
It's just
Yeah.
Must have been paying
those
everybody.
things are impressive to me, and I don't know. I guess
Yeah.
I take that into account. But I was genuinely invested in the story. I thought it was pretty good. So yeah, I mean, just a 3, But it's I thought you'd at least give it that.
Must have been paying everybody union scale.
Well, $17,000 a day.
I mean, dude, you have to agree. At this point, it's kind of hard to pick a movie that you haven't seen.
Yeah. I'm.
Okay, Jonathan. This is yours.
Shut up and let me talk. Damn it.
Come on, hurry up. By bedtime.
I can turn this around. Damn it. We can go back to the beginning. Overall,
Don't make me turn this car around.
Overall, I
All
give
right.
this movie a 3 out of 5.
Oh my God.
The CGI effects were very poorly done. The sets were amazing. Even the Europa parts were really well done. The storyline was very simple. Same with character and character development. But overall, I was entertained by it. But I also, this is not a movie I could watch all the time. Matter of fact, once is enough. So 3 to 5
Yeah.
is from me.
Wow. So other than curmudgeon over here.
Curmudgeon?
Yeah.
Right?
Curmudgeon.
Okay, I'm waiting for Ryan to get back up to me on Incendies now.
Of course, I think he likes Jackie
Yeah,
Brown.
well,
So.
I guess I could do that before I launch into the news. Yeah, well, for one, I'm not going to just start bashing it like you did to my movie. But
Talk about turning.
no, I was sad that I missed this one for last week, man. Because damn, that was a pretty surprisingly good movie. About the first, I'd say, half of the movie, which is only about an hour in, I was a little bit like, okay, this, hopefully this will start picking up, and I started to kind of figure where it was going to go, a little bit after that, but the last 25 minutes make this movie really, really pay off. And not even just, the last, 5 to 8 minutes when, you sort of find out the big reveal. I mean, just, in general, of the last, like sixth of the movie was freaking amazing. Again, great for a little low-budget film. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I obviously am trying to take that into account when I'm watching it.
Especially since it's made by French Canadians.
Yeah, French Canadians, man. That's the thing that I had to try to get over, but I did.
Sorry, Canadians.
No, I'm not. I'll stick by my guns.
Yeah, that's I'm gonna give it a 3. I'm not gonna sit here and say it's like the most important movie of all time, like I'm sure most critics are going to. I thought it was pretty well entertaining. Made its point pretty good.
So what did you think of the twist? I'm just kind of curious about that.
Oh man, that was something I didn't quite see coming, but they sort of tipped their hand, obviously a little bit, with they led you into it a little slower than an American movie definitely would have. But yeah, the guy's reaction though was the best part. That's because that's really what I was wanting to see. I wanted to see sort of the confrontation between the two of them. But mostly I was just wondering why the chick started freaking out when this guy was trying to add 1 and 1. And I was like, okay, well, that better be explained, man. And he did. That was pretty cool.
I was very curious as to how she knew, because it's like, he's like 1 and 1 make 1.
That was pretty esoteric for her to just pick up like that.
That's what I said, too, anyway. But it must be a twins thing. I don't know.
I guess so.
All right, so that's about all we can have time for you to talk about. What's your rating on it?
I just said 3.
Okay. So you gave Incendies a 3 out of 5.
Yeah, what? Don't say it disapproving like that.
No, I'm just. What it is you didn't actually.
I'm the only one disapproving.
What it is, I'm just
clarifying.
I'm just clarifying what you're talking about.
Rob gave it a 1, by the way.
Yeah.
Oh, did you now?
I did.
So.
Okay.
Ryan, what's your?
And remember, one of my rules is I do not like
subtitles.
Independent movies.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah. See, I'm able to get over that because I'm a kung fu movie fan.
Yeah, whatever.
So Ryan, what's your movie news? As I'm trying.
Movie news. Dick, thanks for stepping on my first part of movie news. I was going to bring up that Harold Ramis died.
Oh. Are you talking to me?
Not to try to one up you. No, not you, John.
Sorry, when you say Dick, all three of us are going to say, huh?
I like to
I should consider it.
I like to start the show out and tell everybody how a great actor, comedian, writer died.
Right on. Well, if anybody's wondering why my movie news is only half of what it was going to be, that's why.
I can fill some.
No, but really though, Harold Ramis, man, I found that out this morning. That was, or as we're recording this, rather.
Ghostbusters
that bummed me out, dude. I mean, that was that dude made some good shit. I'm such a Ghostbusters fan. Yeah. You have no idea. And freaking Stripes, man, come on. Mm-hmm. Those movies hold up today.
I have to say, one of the reasons I was really sad is I've been wanting a Ghostbusters 3 since the second one came out. The moment I heard that today, I was actually sad. Well, it'll never happen. And it was supposed to start filming this year.
Yeah, I mean, maybe this will kickstart Bill Murray's ass into maybe directing it or something. That'd be interesting.
Dan Aykroyd.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe Dan Aykroyd.
Well, because Dan Aykroyd and Harold Ramis actually wrote it.
Well, Bill Murray's gone downhill in the past 2 years.
Well, he's just made different choices. I'm convinced he's still Bill Murray, though.
Yeah, I'll give you that. Just made some poor choices.
What do you say downhill? I'm curious. Is this...
His career has not been what it has been in the past.
He's always been a little eccentric.
Well, you do realize he's never actually had an agent, right?
Yeah, I know, but still, I just kind of Ryan saying there's just been some poor choices on his part.
Well, different choices. There are some who liked Lost in Translation,
or Punch Drunk Love.
Well, it's true, but I agree with James in some respects. He's made some odd choices, and sometimes when you see his interviews, you kind of go, "Is this guy on drugs?"
Yeah, that's exactly what I was going to go to.
No, really. I mean,
you mean again,
or still, or
paid
whatever.
like $20 million for like 20 years running. Wouldn't you be on drugs?
Yeah, probably.
Well, on the other hand, you could see as a guy who spent most of his career doing comedy bits, why not do at the latter end of your life just do stuff that you would have never chosen before when you actually needed the money?
I think he proved himself as a good actor.
I just think that I guess I just had higher expectations for his career in the later years of his life than what he chose, and that's just a personal thing. It's nothing that I take out against him. It's just I enjoyed the things as a kid.
At all. Yeah, I think you're right. I think his acting. I hoped more for him too.
Yeah.
Now I find him just incredibly stupid.
Yeah, thank you. That's exactly what I was saying. The best role that I've seen him do in the past few years was like Zombieland, and that's really saying something because he didn't really do much.
It was a cameo.
Yeah, it was more of a cameo than anything else, but it was like, I get to see him play kind of a fun, goofy,
playing sort of himself
character.
again.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what it is. He played himself.
So,
anyway.
What was your other movie news before I cut?
I was going to say, well, anyway, rest in peace, Harold Ramis. Right. I'm sure us bad-mouthing Bill Murray for 5 minutes was a fitting tribute.
Well, I don't think we really bad-mouthed him.
No. I'm just kidding.
We were just hoping for more from him.
You were shitting on his career. Come on.
No, we're questioning his choices. Okay, enough with the BM.
The memorial of Harold Ramis turns into, get off your ass, Bill Murray, and do something funny.
You may be next.
So he
take that from the old guy.
Too.
So he crossed the streams for the final time.
Well, the only other thing that I wanted to bring up was James's, or I guess your opinion as well, John, because I know both of you were gamers. The opinion of Evan Goldberg and Seth Rogen had signed to do a movie about the console wars between Nintendo and Sega back in like the early 90s.
Wait, like a documentary or what?
Like I imagine it's going to be like a whatever that stupid Facebook movie was.
Oh.
That I didn't see, which I heard was actually really good. I'm just calling it.
Was that the one by Aaron Sorkin that was completely full of crap?
I never.
Yeah, that one. I think they're doing sort of a version like that kind of a thing.
Or is it more like a Jobs
based on true
movie?
events, but about Sega trying to compete with Nintendo, and how they sort of came out and kind of dominated for a while. Like everybody had the Genesis.
If I was going to jump on anything, I'd say I was more of a Genesis fan than a Super Nintendo fan, but I'm still a big Nintendo fan.
Yeah,
I mean, you can't beat Mario World 3.
Right, exactly, dude.
I mean, for me,
but a lot of people. I mean, that's really what started the sort of the divide between the kids. Like, oh shit! Like my neighbor's got Sega, I have Nintendo. Like
screw
which
you.
one?
2600 forever. The only thing I'd say. I mean, am wearing the Atari shirt. The only thing is, in all honesty, it doesn't interest me. I mean, it's not like. Excuse me. It's not like the Jobs and Microsoft. I mean, where they were somewhat revolutionary. It doesn't pique my interest as much as
Silicon Valley.
As much as other stuff. I mean, I'll watch it, being a big geek and interested in the way they're going to portray things. But honestly,
I mean, I don't know. I thought it was just weird that they're making like history movies about stuff that was in my freaking childhood. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like Sega and Nintendo.
Yeah, welcome to my world.
Welcome to the old guy's life.
Well,
I guess so. But I mean, but we were sort of there for like the birth of the buy this console instead of this one. I mean, before that it was really just Nintendo.
Yeah.
Unless you have like
technically Atari.
It was Atari, ColecoVision. There were other ones before Nintendo and Sega.
But Nintendo really sort of streamlined everything, made it what gaming, what as we know it.
They made it more popular.
Right, but the thing that's funny to me is that these console wars still exist today in the form of Microsoft and Sony.
Yeah,
it's
and Nintendo kind of.
It's like a Game of Thrones thing that's lasted like 25 years involved in video games.
You know what really made some of the big differences? It wasn't even the games themselves. It was actually the controller.
Yeah. Yes.
Right.
That is actually the biggest
I
thing.
still maintain that the Xbox controller is a far superior thing to the stupid-ass PlayStation controller.
It is.
Talk about your computing all you want. Those controllers are far different.
I can't use PlayStation because my hands hurt after like 5 minutes.
It's just not
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah, they tell me X. I'm like,
Yeah, so
square?
I'm
Triangle?
really,
What?
I'm really not interested in the
Circle.
Sega Nintendo movie. It's kind of like,
You know, I would
Or
probably, if they do it in kind of a documentary style, kind of interviewing both of what goes into the decisions to jump on one bandwagon versus another, and actually get into the logistics of the consoles versus one versus the other, that would be a little bit more interesting than something.
here's my only problem. It's Seth Rogen. It's gonna end up being a comedy. I know I'm stereotyping a little, but I just have a feeling it's gonna be a
And
comedy.
Evan Goldberg. Yeah, damn right it's going to be a comedy.
Let me put it this way:
If it's a comedy, I'm actually gonna be upset.
if they play it like the way that Penn and Teller put together their bullshit show,
Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
it's not going to be a documentary.
but think about the way you've seen bullshit, right?
Of course. I'm
So if
freaking
they-
adore that show.
If they take it and kind of roll it into a basket like that, where it's not necessarily a documentary, and it's not really biased over one or the other, and they allow their own little opinions in there, it could be something that I would enjoy.
Here,
The
wait.
only problem, let me just say this for a second. The only problem I see with this movie is that the age groups that you're going to appeal to is going to be very narrow.
Yeah.
And so I don't see them. They're not going to spend a lot of money on making this movie that I can see, because right off the bat, you've got an age situation. Guy like me probably has absolutely no interest in the movie, where you guys might, but the kids behind you guys aren't either.
Well, I mean,
your demographics are going to be
the
really
kids
difficult.
behind might. Well, yeah, they might not. Well, look, as soon as they see Evan Goldberg and Seth Rogen attached to these kinds of things, they're going to be into it. Rob, did you go see Anchorman 2?
I think James has the biggest point. Is two things: is how much money is it being made for? What is the release style? Because to me, those two things are going to dictate the type of movie. If it's a big
probably
box,
going to be. Look, it's 90s technology with 90s style, so you can pretty much count on those two things. And 90s stuff is cheap, so I don't think it has to be made for much money.
well, because my thing, if it'll be like $10 to $20 million, I can actually see it being a docudrama or a documentary. But if it's anything over, and is it a limited release or is it going to be a mass market release? To me, that's going to dictate the film.
By the names attached to it, I mean, you have to assume they're going to market it pretty good.
Because if it's a broad market release, it's going to
agree
be
with
a
that.
drama comedy-ish. It'll be like the Facebook movie by Aaron Sorkin, which is complete and utter bullshit.
I don't know. We're running away over time.
Yeah, well, I'm expecting it to be like the Facebook movie.
Yeah. Whew. So, ladies and gentlemen, I gave the movie Europa Report 3 out of 5. James gave it a 2 out of 5. Ryan gave it a 3 out of 5. Rob gave it a 3 out of 5. Ryan gave last week's movie Incendies a 3 out of 5. And next week's movie, Rob is picking for Ryan. And so what movie are you going to make us watch?
But I tell you what, I worked diligently to try to find a movie that I thought Ryan would like. See, unlike you guys that might want to really just throw him a curve, but I wanted something a little different in the genre that what we've done. So I'm going to flip over James Bond, and I'm going to want Ryan to. My pick is Casino Royale.
The
Wait.
original?
Hold on.
Yeah.
Yeah. The original.
60s?
Yeah, the original.
The Woody
With
Allen.
Peter Sellers?
No.
and
I
David Niven?
don't want him to do that. I won't do that to him.
Just don't forget who you're talking about.
Yeah,
too.
When I say original,
Yeah.
1960s. I mean,
No. That wasn't a true James Bond.
well, technically, it was a James Bond movie. So
Not really.
So not the Peter Sellers?
No, not the Peter Sellers. No, this is with
Daniel Craig.
Craig. Yes, Daniel Craig. So this is a complete switch, the total switch.
yeah,
in movies.
So you're gonna have it be the blonde Bond.
Yeah, I like the guy.
yeah. I like Daniel Craig too.
He'll be
Somebody
Perfectly fine.
I might
can
be
talk about
upset
James
if he
Bond all
died.
day.
So I was nice to you there, buddy.
Yeah.
So,
Appreciate it.
Kiss ass.
wow.
There's a decent chance I would have watched that movie the next month anyway.
So, ladies and gentlemen, for all of us at Real Flix Reviews, we'll see you next week.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Thank you.